Hey everyone, John here, All Miniatures Great and Small. Today we're returning with a unit overview. This time we're looking at the Hotchkiss assault gun for Flames of War. Now keep in mind, if you do like our Flames of War content, do check out our Patreon where we do battle reports for our Patreon members, and you will be able to see these tanks in the 21st Panzer Division in action in an upcoming battle report. So the assault guns, these are German vehicles. Well, they were originally started out as French Hotchkiss light tanks. But when France fell and they were captured, the Germans, being always short of armored vehicles, converted them to assault guns, and that's what you see here. There are two versions. We have the 10.5 as well as the 7.5 centimeter assault gun versions. So even though this video is going to cover both, we'll look at them one at a time. First up, we have the 10.5 centimeter Hotchkiss. So this vehicle has a front armor of a whopping 2 and a side armor of 2, and obviously a top armor of 0, considering it has no roof. So armor-wise, it's not good at all. It's on par with armored cars, Hellcats on the American side. Anything is going to threaten these guys, even like Stuart light tanks or even 50 caliber machine guns with anti-tank 4. But that's you're not taking it for the armor. Weapons wise, it has a 10.5 centimeter gun. Now this is a dual purpose gun in Flames of War because you can shoot it direct fire, or you can shoot it artillery bombardment. So direct fire, let's talk about that. It's just range 24. It can shoot on the move, but it's always going to fire one shot each. It's got an anti-tank of 10, 2 plus firepower, and that gun has the brutal rule, which means infantry rerolls their saves, forward firing, heat, slow firing, and smoke. So there is some penalties when it's moving. Slow firing means if you move, you get +1 to hit. And heat is the target's armor is not increased at long range. So some pros and cons to that gun in the direct fire mode, but its artillery bombardment is also very nice. Since it is a 10.5 centimeter gun, the artillery bombardment's 72 inches with a anti-tank of 3 and a 3 plus firepower. So anti-tank 3 means you can threaten light tanks and medium tanks, anything with top armor 1. They can fail it if they roll a 1 on their armor roll, and then a 3 plus to destroy is not too bad. So not a very high probability of killing tanks with an artillery bombardment, but it is possible, which is not always the case with all artillery. And then obviously against dug-in infantry, a 3 plus means you're killing every 2 out of 3 enemy teams that fail their armor roll. So not too bad. You got 3 guns, so you've got enough to put 12 inches of smoke on the table as well. Now in the 21st Panzer Division formation, you can take these guys, and they're a requirement. A platoon of these is a requirement in the corps formation. So you have to take at least one of these. And considering the artillery bombardment it brings, that's not a bad idea at all. Okay, so that is the 10.5. All right, here's the 7.5 centimeter Hotchkiss. This one, the main way you tell the difference is the barrel is skinnier and a lot longer. Otherwise, everything else in the assault gun is the same. So it's still front armor 2 for these guys. The weapon on this one is a Hotchkiss 7.5 centimeter anti-tank gun. Pretty standard, halted rate of fire 2, moving rate of fire 1, anti-tank 12, 3 plus firepower, and of course forward firing is the rule. That's the only rule that gun has. So it's a pretty standard anti-tank gun. Anti-tank 12 means um, Shermans, which if you're playing historically, Shermans and Cromwells, those are the things you're primarily going to be, armor you're going to be faced against, aren't going to fare very well. At short range, the best Sherman could do would be to equal your firepower. They're typically a Sherman's armor is 6 in the front. They'd have to roll a 6 on their armor, roll to equal your 12 anti-tank value, 6 plus 6. At long range, a Sherman could potentially bounce it on a roll of a 6 and equal it on a roll of a 5, but still, 66.6% of the time, it's going to be a killed Sherman. So that does go ways to addressing the fact that these guys are front armor too. If these guys are hit by Shermans, it goes straight to the Sherman's firepower, which is also a 3 plus. But Shermans and these guys firing at each other, the variation between anti-tank value and armor value is not that great. So don't freak out when you think, oh, I'm only front armor 2. It's considering what you are threatening the allies with, that anti-tank 12, yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so let's talk about the stuff that's common to both of these vehicles. All right, so both of these vehicles are hit on 4 plus, so they are tough to hit, which is good because concealment is, armor. So you get these guys in concealment. They're going to be 5s to hit. Long range, they're going to be 6s. So they can. That's how they survive, is making them as hard to hit as possible. Regardless of the model you're taking, the Hotchkis has a machine gun, just one. So halted rate of fire 3. So it can threaten some infantry if it needs to, or maybe make an allied player think twice before launching an infantry assault against them. Not a ton of fire, but still, in a platoon of 3 of these guys, that's still 9 machine gun shots. A little less than 50% chance of repelling an assault of careful, hit on 4 allied troops. So not too bad. In the 21st Panzer Division, these guys have a motivation of 4 plus, but they have a last stand of 3 plus. So, which is good because they're just small platoons of 3. When you get down to that morale check to see if they stick around, that last stand check, having a 3 plus is a little bit better. But they are self-propelled guns, so they only counterattack on a 6. So if they do get assaulted, they're not going to stick around in assault. You probably don't want them in assault anyway. Movement-wise, they have a tactical speed of 10, a terrain dash of only 12, cross-country 16, and on the road they can go a full 20 inches. Cross is a 4-up on these guys, so what you're looking for in the battlefield, you don't necessarily want to put them in area terrain like woods, because with that 4-up cross check, half of them aren't going to get in there, and anytime you want to move them around, only half of them are going to move. 3-up is, 4-up is not that great. With a follow me order, you could get them to 3-up, but still, a third of your tanks are going to fail that. So instead, look for things like tree lines or bocage or rock walls or things like that to have your tank behind, so that it can get concealment. And that's the name of the game with these tanks. I talked a little bit about how you can take the 10.5 in the formation, the assault gun formation. In the assault gun formation, you do have to take a 7.5 centimeter as the HQ, as well as 1 platoon of them mandatory, and then you can add an additional one, but you can never max out 10 of these vehicles in a formation, which is a little light. A fully maxed out, I think, formation is around 40 points or right around there. So it's not a ton, but maybe you take this in support of an infantry formation or double 21st Panzer formation. So you have some options there. Again, these are interesting tanks. They're fun to use. A lot of German players, when they start out, will gravitate towards the super powerful Tiger and Panther because those are iconic and they're cool, and you can use them from mid-war up onto late war, late war. Whereas these are much more of a niche vehicle. They're poorly armored. They really only existed in the Normandy campaign before they were, attrited into oblivion. So you're really having to develop a different play style if you're going to do these. You can't rely on your armor to bully the allies. You're going to have to play cagey. But Germans can do that with a 3-up skill, and they can blitz quite well. And with the stormtrooper rule, if you blitz them forward, do a blitz, and then you can try to do, if you're successful, you can try to do a scoot and shoot to pull yourself back off, like a tree line or something like that. So overall, pretty interesting. Again, if you want to see these guys in action, do check out our Patreon. That's going to be coming out in the next month or two, and you can check them out in all their glory. I'm also going to have a video on YouTube list building with these guys, so you can get a better idea of that, so you have something to look forward to there. All right, guys, there you go. That's a unit overview for the Hotchkis 7.5 centimeter and 10.5 centimeter assault guns. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please let me know down in the comments below. If you've taken these guys to a tournament, let me know how you did. I'm really curious. And as always, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.